The Great Payroll Caper. The final saga of the Emerald Sector involved the missing $62,000. Blight had tasked Timbo with picking up the base payroll from the main island of New Caledonia. It was a setup. Blight hoped Timbo would lose it in the dens of iniquity that lined Saloon Road. "Don't worry, sir," Timbo had said, clutching the canvas bag. "I'll be back before you can say grand larceny." 3 hours later, Timbo crawled back to the boat, his uniform torn and his hat missing. "Skip, the money. It's gone." "Gone? How?" Callahan asked. "I was walking past the racetrack. I saw a girl's ankle. It had a birthmark, a little brown heart. And then everything went black." "We have to find that girl," Callahan declared, "before Blight finds us." The search for the heart ankle girl took the crew through the neon-lit streets of the local port town. They checked every cafe, every dance hall, and every bistro. "Pardon me, madame," Rusty said to a dignified French lady. "Does your ankle have a romantic shape?" He was promptly hit with a baguette. Blight and Higgins were already on the trail. "I saw them, sir," Higgins shouted. "They're in the French Quarter. They're looking for a woman with a cardiac blemish." The climax occurred in a town square, where a local festival was underway. A man in a grey suit was seen running with a canvas bag. "There he is," Timbo pointed. "The guy who took the dough." The chase was frantic. They ran through a vegetable market, over a bridge, and into a local fort that housed an ancient, decorative cannon. The thief, cornered, stuffed the money into the barrel of the cannon to hide it. "Halt!" Blight screamed, arriving with his security detail. "Callahan, you're under arrest." "Where is the payroll?" Callahan. "I don't have it," Callahan shouted. "Then you've spent it. Search him." Just then, a stray spark from a nearby firework display landed on the cannon's fuse. Boom! The cannon roared. Instead of a cannonball, a cloud of green paper exploded into the sky. $62,000 in small bills rained down over the Emerald Sector like manna from heaven. "It's a miracle," Rusty shouted, catching a 20. "My money," Blight wailed, trying to catch the bills in his hat. "My beautiful, crisp, unmarked bills." "Look at that," Callahan said, leaning against the fort wall as the money fluttered around them. "Justice is served. And it's tax-free." As the sun set over the Emerald Archipelago, Blight was still counting. 42,365. 42,366. Callahan and the groghound sailed back toward the Sea Wasp, leaving the Commodore in a whirlwind of flying cash and tropical madness. For in the Emerald Sector, the only thing more certain than the heat was the absolute, hilarious certainty of chaos. The end. The Starskipper Chronicles. Chaos on Zion. 9. Chapter 1. The Armpit of the Galaxy. If the galaxy had an armpit, it would be Zion. 9. A jagged, rust-colored asteroid orbiting a dying sun in the nebula sector, Zion. 9 was home to the most disorganized refueling station in the United Galactic Federation. It was a place where the gravity was intermittent, the synthetic coffee tasted like industrial lubricant, and the paperwork was handled by people who considered literacy a secondary skill. In the center of this cosmic mess sat Commodore Barnaby Bellows. Bellows was a man whose blood pressure was currently high enough to power a small scout ship. He spent his days popping anti-acid capsules and staring at a monitor that showed his Petty Officers Club's plumbing backing up for the 3rd time this lunar cycle. "Executive Officer Carver," Bellows roared, his face turning a shade of purple that matched the local flora. Chip Carver, a man whose only talent was being spectacularly sycophantic, scurried into the office. "Yes, Commodore? Is it the mag boots? The nurses are complaining that the anti-gravity suspenders aren't snappy enough." "Garter belts. Carver, they want garter belts for the formal gala." Bellows slammed his fist on the desk, sending a holographic paperweight flying. "I am a war hero. I commanded the siege of Saturn. And here I am, acting as a cosmic haberdasher. And to make matters worse, I just got word from command. Grand Inquisitor Hard Vacuum Vane is arriving today for a sneak inspection." Carver turned pale. Vane was a man known for demoting officers for having unpolished buttons or, on one occasion, for blinking too loudly. Oh no, not Vane, not today. Yes, today. And look at this place. It's a circus. And Maverick Sterling is the ringmaster. Maverick Mav Sterling was the captain of the Starskipper 73, a modified PT boat short for plasma thrust that looked like it was held together by gum and sheer audacity. His crew was a collection of drifters who spent more time trading black market lunarale than patrolling the sector. Bellows clutched his stomach. My acid is eating through my ribs. If I have to face Vane, I'll be court-martialed before lunch. But wait. If I were incapacitated, if I had nebula fever, I could appoint an acting station commander. Carver's eyes widened. Sir, you don't mean... Oh, I do. I'll put Sterling in charge. He'll run this station into the ground in front of Vane. He'll be disgraced, the drifters will be sent to the spice mines, and I'll be miraculously cured, just in time to take back command. Chapter 2. The acting commander, Captain Maverick Sterling, was currently trying to convince a space iguana named Sydney to stop eating the wiring in the 73's mess hall when the summons arrived. Me? Station commander? Maverick asked, looking at Bellows, who was currently draped over a reclining medbed, moaning theatrically. It's a heavy burden, Maverick, Bellows wheezed. But Carver is, well, Carver is Carver. I need a man of action, and I'm appointing your technical officer, Percy Pumpernickel, as acting executive officer. Percy, a man who once accidentally launched a torpedo while trying to microwave a burrito, nearly fainted with joy. An officer, a real officer. Skip, did you hear that? I'll finally get a hat with gold leaves. Maverick sighed. He knew Bellows was up to something, but an order was an order. The moment Maverick and Percy left, Bellows sat bolt upright. Carver! Call the medic and tell them I need a sedative that makes me look pale but doesn't actually kill me. This is going to be the happiest illness of my life. The transition of power was, predictably, a disaster. Within 2 hours, Maverick had approved a galactic beach party in the Oxygen Gardens. The Petty Officers Club was serving contraband ale at a 500% markup, and Percy was trying to organize a magboot synchronized dance for the nurses. Skip! Percy shouted over the intercom. The plumbing in the mess hall is fixed, but the gravity in the hydroponics bay is now reversed. The tomatoes are hitting the ceiling. Tell them it's an elevated salad experience, Percy, Maverick yelled back, juggling 3 different communicators. And get those garter belts delivered to the nurses before they mutiny. Chapter 3. The Grand Inquisitor arrives. Grand Inquisitor Vane didn't arrive. He manifested. His sleek, black chrome cruiser docked with the subtlety of a heart attack. He stepped onto the station, his cape swirling in the artificial breeze. Where is Commodore Bellows? Vane asked, his voice sounding like gravel in a blender. He's in the medbay, sir, Maverick said, trying to look professional while wearing a Hawaiian patterned flight suit. Nebula fever. Very tragic. I'm Maverick Sterling, acting commander. Vane looked around. A group of sailors were currently chasing a crate of escaped space chickens down the corridor. And this. Chaos? What is the meaning of the neon lights in the radar room? Visual morale boosters, sir. Percy squeaked, saluting so hard he nearly poked his own eye out. Ensign Percy Pumpernickel, executive officer. Would you like to see our air raid shelter? It's currently being used for, emergency dance rehearsals. Vane's eyes narrowed. Inspection starts now. If I find one thing out of regulation, heads will roll. Starting with the ones wearing flowery shirts. Meanwhile, in the med bay, Bellows was hiding in a closet. He had invited a nurse, Lieutenant Wilson, to take a swim at Maverick's private beach to lure the captain away. But the plan backfired when Vane arrived early. Carver, you idiot! Bellows hissed from the closet. Vane is headed to the air raid shelter. If he sees those hula dancers Sterling hired, we're all dead. But sir, you wanted him to see the mess. Carver whispered back.